Bitcoin is set up for a massive move as lawmakers and everyone else in the space of big money begin to move into the asset class. We see some movement coming in from legislators demanding legislation to actually bring regulatory clarity to the space. And will we see the marriage of two of the most undervalued altcoins in the space? All this and more on today's Blockchain Basement.
Sad.
You ready for this? I'm ready. Welcome.
If you're gonna screw me, at least pull my hair.
Hell yeah. What you got?
They could start chopping off fingers. They're like, give me your seed phrase, but I don't know it.
Out to give the numbers out. And I was like, no, hang up the phone right now.
Or like when it dropped in 2020, was it like exciting?
400,000 to 600,000. The generational signals are now.
Level. So I don't even know if we're gonna get back below there. But if we do, that's kind of where we.
Hello and welcome welcome all to the Blockchain Basement. We are sharing the couch and the top chair here with a fantastic crew. Obviously, you know the man, the legend, Kelly Kellum, the BitLab Academy, doing all the things, swirling all the concoctions together. We got BJ, somewhat of a chemist himself.
Drew, the question is,
yes,
are you going to cast me and BJ since we are on the couch?
That is definitely on the table. That is
It's not
definitely
black
on the
leather,
table.
though.
Yeah. I mean, you're on the black couch right
It's
now.
black, but not black.
Oh,
leather.
yeah. Decker up top here,
Leather's
hanging
easier
out
to
with
clean.
us.
Hey guys.
What's up? And then we also have a agent of chaos behind the sticks, Mr. Owen. He's running, he's pulling levers. Let me see, what are you doing over there and why am I concerned? Okay, that's
Agent of chaos.
very, very concerning. Well, yeah, so I hope you guys are doing well. It's Wednesday. We're in the middle of the week. It's kind of the grind. Obviously, everyone that's into crypto, we're in it. If you've already gotten into altcoins, you're waiting for the big pump up, back up to original entry points. I haven't seen a lot of people throwing a lot of money into altcoins as particularly, but I have seen a lot of movement and positive kind of statistics come out for Bitcoin and where the graph sits right now. And I kind of hopped on Kelly's stream earlier this morning, kind of got us off the hip. What are you doing with your holdings? What are you doing? I'm mostly insulated to Bitcoin and Ethereum as of, I think, about a month and a half or 2 months ago. Took a lot of profits in the altcoin sector, push them back into Bitcoin and or fixes to my house. But we're going to be taking a look at it because there's some pretty interesting setups. Some different charts posted by multiple different analysis people, but I want to get Kelly's opinion on where things are going. So without further ado, we're going to take a look at the market chart. I want to kind of see where everything is sitting because we had, what's that?
Was the software open?
You can't see my screen. All right, I'll open the software again.
Yeah.
John A.
Did he close
Unbelievable. I think I got it here. There you go. You should be good. So I want to go to the overall markets. Bitcoin tried to touch the 31 mark, got slapped down once again.
Where did Bitcoin touch you, Drew?
In very, very appropriate places.
Excellent.
All over my body.
Right in the
All
channel
over my
you were
body.
expecting?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a tight channel.
What is BJ playing?
Yeah.
BJ's playing with his cards.
But oh gosh, and the hold on, pull up my full screen. We got to call out the chat here. We got some great humans in the chat.
Oh, yeah.
Crimson Caravan Company, Flat Smack, what up? Meat Popsicle. I think he might have seen my past social accounts before they were deleted by the Zuck. I identified as a meat popsicle. Good to see you here. Pablo Guerrero, Manawak, good human being right there. TJ's Chicken Salad. Ryan Anderson, G Money 79, Dave Digital, out from the gulag once again. He's in and out. You just never know. So you're safe in this space. This is a safe space. Okay.
Safe.
The Kid Con Man.
What?
Yeah, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Michael Moore, all the OGs. We got Chili Rainbow, a bunch of new names I saw. Anecdotal Smith, OG member. Thank you for joining us, you guys. And if you have any questions about, certain bags that you're overly heavy in, maybe you're super heavy in a particular altcoin, bring it up. We'll maybe take a look at it. One thing that's come to my mind is that a lot of people have been really long-term bullish and accumulating Matic through this whole kind of downturn, because Matic held up pretty well in comparison to the rest of the altcoins during the big crash. And I just kind of want to pull up the all-time here. So this is the all-time for Polygon. It's sitting at 72 cents right now. But if you kind of zoom in a little bit more, I mean, it had a really kind of hell of a move right here. It hit $1.50 momentarily.
About a 50% decline. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was definitely on the upswing while everything else was kind of flatlining, and it just seemed a little safe. Now you've got this huge correction. We're highlighting this super, super low entry point at 61 cents. The day that it happened, zoom in a little bit more on the monthly. Looks like it's coming back alive. That's one of the ones that I'm watching. That just came to mind when we're putting together the live stream this morning. Obviously, you have XRP still feeling like a stable coin at 47 cents, 46.9 right now.
Nice.
Said Cardano still under 30 cents. So just about 29 cents for Cardano. Thoughts, BJ? Is this a buy?
Yes.
You think so?
I mean, if we're going to return to an all-time high of at least $3, which I think you can't say 100% chance that it's happening. That's a 10x. So do you think this is a good buy / do you want to 10x?
Yeah, I want to say something on that. People, this is when we were at like 40 cents and whatnot. I was like, guys, anything under 2 quarters for 1 ADA, I'm in, usually. And right now, we're almost at a quarter. I bought a little bit at 26.9 cents and, did some other for, Frankie Candles does a lot with Cardano. And so we picked up some Cardano there. And so, yeah, Cardano's huge. I've said this many a time. Well, I think it will be huge, more on like the 10 to 20 year time frame.
Well, when you back up to the overall, it looks like there's some pain left in the equation here.
True.
This was
true, but with everything,
quite a long area of consolidation, or basically just minimal price action.
It feels like it consolidates longer than most.
But I've seen
and then when it moves, it moves.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
It kind of compounds that velocity in the
well, Bill Noble says a lot of times with assets like this, especially if they have a community or fundamentals being built out, as we do see with Cardano, the longer the base, the higher the space.
Right.
So that's kind of what we see with Cardano. Like, it's a perfect example.
Well, I just had to, we're gonna be looking more.
Make me want to buy
into
Cardano right
this
now.
Then do it
later on in the show. But right
and then
now,
stake it with NAS pool.
This is the stuff that all the news and all the squeeze is about. Why we have the Darth Maul candle on Bitcoin this morning, up and down, very indecisive. Bitcoin really didn't react horribly positive.
What came in 3% lower?
CPI was 3.1, and it came the expectation, and it came in at 3.
Yes.
But the thing about that is everybody has to remember, when you're looking at price of any asset, the price does not determine the value of that asset. The price is the speculative value for which people are trading it. And the reason why that's important is because the speculative is speculative value. So people are trading kind of irrationally, and then also with very constructed sort of strategy. 99% of the market is trading irrationally. And then the 1% of the market, the big money institutions, smart money, professional traders, are trading with a very concerted strategy, which is to trigger your irrationality. And so they know that there's going to be high speculation that, we get a lower print than expected. That means it's going to go boom to the moon.
And no,
they'll move it up there. They'll start getting the ball rolling. They'll let the price go fairly quickly, and then they'll dump hundreds of millions of dollars in shorts and then bring the price back down, take your money from you, because in order for them to do that, you have to be a buyer. They cannot make money unless they have people out there that are willing to donate it to them. So don't make stupid decisions. Trade with a plan. Like right now, for instance, I've been scaling into AVAX and Quant and Cardano, and I don't care if the price goes lower from here, because right now I am only a net buyer. If it drops lower, I see better opportunity. And I don't say, dang it went lower. I went, yes, I could actually lower my average entry, because I'm not trading because it moves down going, oh, fuck. And then you sell because you're scared. Stop being I almost said that.
Well,
a wussy.
It's like reaching your hand in the cookie jar.
You are what you eat. It's fine.
Yeah, I saw this great post. This other guy, I can't even remember who said this, but it's like people that try to actively manage their positions heavily, like week by week, often end up with much less than they would have had if they just have a longer term outlook and following time frames. And really what I've had luck with was the 4-year cycle. That's why I like, Ben's outlook on kind of sticking to his thesis and building everything around that, because it looks pretty true. And right now, I mean, we're building this little shelf right here at 30K. The huge question is are we going to get a hot chance of entry back somewhere in the 20,000 range, potentially maybe just a smaller pullback to 25?
P.S. Sorry, Shane Dawson or somebody up above or Shane Hansen. Yes, my shoes are broken in. They feel nice. Thank you, guys.
Are these the ones you bought?
Why
do you keep showing up with new shoes?
Well, because you guys made fun of me, so I feel bad and insecure. No, I'm joking.
Okay.
Kind of. No, no. I mean, the new shoes were the black and white Adidas that I wore.
Adidas.
Adidas. But these are also Adidas. But thank you anyway. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt. Go for it.
No, you're good. I'm
Appreciate
curious
it.
about what the shoe saga is.
Yeah, the shoe saga. It was what is it? The name of the flipping shoe. The type of shoe, like the old something Stan.
K-Swiss?
No.
Don't do that.
Stan Smiths? No.
Pull my screen down here.
Also, Crypto Steve-O keeps asking if I know any card tricks.
Yes, he does.
Are they decent?
Let me get
I think they're decent.
Are they amazing?
Amazing is quite a strong word.
You're never seeing anything ever again.
What? They're amazing to me.
They're amazing. I do literally like David Blaine stuff that he does on specials. So yeah. Anyway, back to shoes.
Okay.
What BJ does is so derivative.
Yeah.
I'm just joking.
He is a pure agent of chaos.
It's not bio.
I wanted to bring up this chart and get your opinion on this, Kelly, because I feel like a lot of people are in that choice pattern right now of are we ready to move heavily back into altcoins or crypto projects? This got a great take. Christopher Inks of Texas West Capital. Really like his work that I've seen from him. I continue to see charts trying to convince you that the max pain for traders is if Bitcoin pulls back and then rallies. Those people just don't get it. Max pain is already being felt as price continued to rally from November's lows. And so now many people remain on the sidelines because they're scared that if they jump in, the price will drop. And that's kind of that initial week by week fear that people get built in. Like,
but that's fine. Like you say, price drops on what timeline?
Right.
Like if you buy Bitcoin at 30 grand, it drops to 25 2 days later, and then it's back at 31 within that period of time. Like, yeah, it dropped, but like again.
No, I agree. It's kind of funny. On Mondays and Tuesdays, I do TA on BitBoy Crypto, and people have been calling me bearish when all I'm talking about.
You're no twink.
Well, my narrative is actually very, very bullish, and it's even. I have a chart that I posted on my Twitter. It's pinned in the top of my Twitter from January, and it basically outlines this incredibly bullish scenario. But what they're calling me bearish on, to BJ's point exactly, is that I'm looking at saying, okay, I'm very bullish. But on a 1 hour chart or a 4 hour chart, I see a strong possibility of taking advantage of all these weak-minded people that are in the market in terms of the price flushing out to the downside to spring back to the upside. So I want everybody to be aware of, as bullish as we are, if the price drops, that's not a reason to capitulate. There's certain targets that you can map out, even though you're bullish, that if this liquidity is tapped, can I participate in that spring before it goes up?
Hey,
so
PJ,
being bearish on a 1 hour and bullish on a larger time frame, in my opinion, is actually more bullish because you're taking advantage of the steps to get to that bullish scenario to play out.
100%. Yeah. I just wanted to look at this hillbilly stuff that I did and just exactly on what you said. So I had a very just basic line built around like the 17K mark that I had left on the top of this peak in the previous bull market out, not including this recent blow off top. I had the baseline of where I was hoping to get just a super hot entry point built right here from this original blow off top and where it kind of stumbled before it went parabolic before the last bull market. And so I had this very basic line here. And then what you're saying, and just to kind of talk and continue to explain what I went through when we had the final capitulation after FTX. So that's what this drop is right here. And so now the price dropped all the way to this bottom candle, and I had not began buying crypto yet until I saw this final blast. And then I kept buying through here. We saw, this is the FTX, and then this was the Celsius, but it was just kind of a stair step down. I continued to buy here. It felt really uncomfortable to kind of try to hard
So
sidedly
the
convince
reverse Led
people.
Zeppelin
The reverse Led Zeppelin.
was
That's
not
right.
a stairway to heaven.
No, it was.
that took me a
I mean,
second
yeah,
there.
we were on a highway to hell right there. But when it happened, I was buying, and then I'd snuck over to Frankie. I'm like, dude, this is the bottom. And then we were, kind of going back and forth with macro TA people that were like, you are going to hit 10K, and it was kind of this.
Oh yeah, we were talking about that too.
We were talking, and yes, I remember you were in the live stream studio, and we kind of felt like, in general, that was where it played out, and kind of found that support level, and that's really what looks like ended up happening, because now we've doubled since those lows.
It's crazy, dude.
It's crazy to think about that you've doubled since those lows, where all of the bad media came out. We were saying Bitcoin's a scam. It was just a fad, all this stuff. And stayed convicted, hadn't really bought anything until that final moment really from Celsius to FTX happened. And now, I mean, it's looking pretty good. Like, if you back up and look at this thing, this looks like just the stair-stepping process that Bitcoin does leading up to a parabolic blow-off top. It's going to take time. But
one thing I wanted to say, just kind of what exactly we talked about. Well, first off, I want to make some guy said, can you turn his soda into Cheez-It? You guys remember that skit with the fake David Blaine? No. It's like, it's Cheez-Its. You put Cheez-Its in my... Come on. Anyway, shout out to you guys who know that. It's like early YouTube. Anyway, secondarily, we talked a lot about like days since halving and days since all-time high. And that was one of the big things we talked about. Frankie was basically like, it's the lows correlate with the days since all-time high for the previous cycle when it reached the lows of that bear market. I don't exactly remember the days, and it was within 10 or 20. But it was kind of like, man, but everybody was tendency, and we weren't like, let's go buy. For me, I was like, I think it might be the bottom. Like, I wasn't, for me, I was like, I'll buy a little bit. I was buying some alts. So, it's never for sure, but we were talking about it and just looking at those, like you said, those macro factors and kind of seeing where we're at. And look at us, or not look at us, but look at us all where we're at now. It's kind of even crazy to think, like, I didn't even really realize, like, wow, 17K is literally a 2X. And we're at 30K right now.
100%. And this channel kind of started at the
Speaking of the distance from days, have we just not we necessarily, has the overall crypto space just thrown out the lengthening cycles entirely? Because that seemed to actually hold
that
true.
Narrative coming out. Most of
I
what
haven't
I've seen is
seen it since, I guess, Benjamin Cowan kind of brought it up, like
it's still
late 2020.
Yeah, what do you think, Kelly?
I still think it's a thing.
It's still pretty on point. There's some things that lag for a period, and then it will catch up very quick, or it'll move too quick, and then it'll lag. You might be able to find this on Twitter there, Drew. If you pull up the Rational Root, he has a bunch of basically direct overlays of 3 or 4 different cycles and showing you exactly where we're at. And the interesting thing about where we're at right now is the 2014, 2015 cycle
I got it.
was much lower coming up. Go further down this page.
Okay.
Scroll down this page.
The Root. I like him already because he's a vegetable.
No, he's great. I talked with him for about 4 hours at Bitcoin conference.
Yeah.
He makes some great stuff. He actually has something called Bitcoin Strategy Platform, which has some really great. Keep going.
Not a sponsor.
You're going to see multiple.
Hashtag
You're
not
going to see multiple cycles. There it is. Right
There it is.
Yeah.
Let's check it out.
Now look.
I like the one where it's the 4 cycles.
All you have to do is click on the image. It will zoom. There you go.
Fine.
So you see the yellow line is a 2015 and it was much lower. The orange line is a 2019. It was much higher. And we're that little magenta line right exactly in between. Isn't that special? I look at where the previous all-time highs were. That's where the black dots are on the line on the left. And then the lows, it's kind of hard to see because there's multiple cameras here. The lows are correlating pretty heavily. We see where the halving is. And so either way, whether we stair step up to the halving and have a minimal pullback or have an explosion that happens a little bit laggard from the 2019 in terms of where we're at in days and cycle.
Right.
Either way, regardless of what we do, Bitcoin has some work to do. Whether we get a hype cycle and then a sell-off pre-halving, or we stair-step our way up there. For me, I don't care if I buy now, it goes parabolic and then sells off and then gets right back to the same price.
Yeah.
I know what's happening to a pretty reasonable degree of, I don't want to say certainty, of probability post-halving, especially now that the on-ramps are being established. And not only the on-ramps physically with the asset the asset lanes, like for institutions to buy if those ETFs come through.
The ETFs,
but separate from that entirely, more important than these applications and whether or not they get through is the press junket that Larry Fink went on about a week ago now, where he went basically on a press tour saying on live nationally broadcast and now internationally shared finance news stations saying Bitcoin's a green lights in international asset. It's like digital gold. This removed the hesitation from anybody that was questioning it in traditional finance, because in order to keep up in this world, you always watch what the best are doing. And whether or not you agree or disagree with BlackRock as an institution for what the purpose of what they're doing is, the fact of the matter is they are the big dog on the street. And if they change their diet and all of a sudden their coat gets more shiny, you're going to change your diet too, so you can compete in that dog race.
Hold on, I have something on that note. Let me see if I pull my screen down. I want to pull up the right one here real quick, but just to kind of tail in on what you're saying here, because what you said is basically follow what they're doing, not what they're saying, right? And then eventually we saw Larry Fink come out and be like, yeah, okay, it is digital gold.
And by the way,
this is
what was he doing for at least 3 to 5 years prior to this? He was flooding Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, his purchasing of Bitcoin did not start once he made that press junket. He's been buying for years, even though he was talking bad about it.
Yeah,
why would they do that? Yeah. Because they have an impact on making sure they get in at the best prices. This is why you follow what they're, you listen to what they say, but typically with institutions, it's the opposite.
Well, it's right here with beyond BlackRock, Vanguard.
I was going to say, as the idiot here, with the ETF, people who invest in the ETF will not be investing directly in Bitcoin.
No, they're buying electronically traded fund. The fund itself is the asset manager.
So it's kind of like FTX again.
Well,
I'm making a joke with synthetic assets that you're not actually buying.
Synthetic. You're right. You don't own Bitcoin. You own shares
in
a
way. It's similar
like
to it, except it's entirely different, because this is one of the reasons why the regulation is important. And with this space, with ETFs, the fact about ETFs,
that's already regulated.
We're right. The ETFs are, in order to be an ETF, are very highly regulated, and we see with a lot of the provisions that are a part of these applications, and what their plan is going to be is to have surveillance sharing, which has to do with making sure there's not anything hinky going on. So ETFs provide some good faith, essentially. It's taking Bitcoin,
some regulatory clarity.
Well, it's taking Bitcoin, which is trustless, and which is actually better, but making it, because traditional finance and people that are not yet ready to understand that this is the best option they've ever had in history in terms of money or store of value, but it's making the ETF gives people that are ignorant to what Bitcoin really is feel safe, because it does have regulatory oversight. And this is important for the liquidity that can come from institutions, and it won't come until something like this goes through.
Yep. We've seen just on top of all this, they're getting exposure to Bitcoin through Bitcoin mining companies and obviously MicroStrategy. So, this is just a great highlight of Vanguard's movement into Bitcoin and Riot platforms, particularly. Remember when we used to get excited that some no-name commerce site was starting to accept Bitcoin? Well, Vanguard, one of the largest fund managers on Earth, is purchasing 10% of one of the largest Bitcoin miners on Earth. And this is really a notable event. I just wanted to highlight this in contrast with what you're saying here, because we've seen we weed through all the different stories that come out. We try to make our own judgments on them. And I see someone, to Infinity Beyond's institution like you guys. I look like an institution. Wow, that's incredible.
What?
That's a hard spin. I'm not I basically am a middle-class American that doesn't make a damn bit of difference on the blockchain with what I buy.
And even our company itself certainly is not making an effect on any prices. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah. But these guys do. I mean, look at this. It's one of the world's largest asset managers that's moving into one of the largest Bitcoin mining companies with a 10% exposure. And then on top of that, we've seen all of the good movements that have been talked about by the mainstream media regarding NVIDIA and this whole, just amazing performance on the Wall Street markets, which is great. I mean, it's good to see things moving forward and moving up and to the right in general. That shows that risk assets are becoming a little bit more tasty for just investors in general. And, you do need a little bit of interest from just larger investors, not just the plebes like me and you that are convicted. We're here. We're not leaving, right, until we get ours and change our lives with it. But then to see these massive institutions moving in, and this just highlights the actual profitability of MicroStrategy and NVIDIA. As far as the percentage of price change, and they're both up by about 191% each. And I like to kind of highlight this. Another thing that came to my mind when I saw these graphs overlaid.
Is this year to date?
This is
Jan 23, yeah.
Yep, January 2023.
So this is important because this is one of those things. It's a traditional asset similar to GBTC. GBTC, Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, the non-official ETF that's already been around for a while, is still trading at a negative 27% net premium, meaning for every dollar you buy of GBTC, you're getting X amount of exposure to Bitcoin.
It is, yeah.
Right now, you're getting 27% more. So when price starts going up, there's a positive premium. You're actually getting more growth than Bitcoin itself. The interesting thing about it is MicroStrategy, which some people still don't realize is direct correlation, direct exposure to Bitcoin, because 95 or more percent, probably 98%, the value of their company is now hinged on the value of their wallet of Bitcoin.
Right.
They're up 191%. What does this tell you? This shows you institutions are getting involved before ETFs are here.
Absolutely. And another thing that I think about when I consider kind of the time frame we're in, I feel like we're coming up on like this technological renaissance almost, where we've had a lot of systems be moved to the World Wide Web. The introduction of the internet has really changed things in a big way, very fast. I know it doesn't feel like it because we're here. We're doing it. It seems like, it's normal to kind of advance this fast, but really,
Drew,
what's that?
When you meet people, do you still exchange phone numbers, or is it 50-50? Or do you typically, when you meet people, do you exchange
Twitter.
social handle,
Yeah,
right?
Twitter
So
handles.
think about this.
But when I was blacked off of Facebook and Twitter when you couldn't speak,
Right.
But the point is,
back to phone
the point is here, you just brought about the internet. The internet's been around for most of the majority of our lifetimes. Anybody that's under, I'll be 40 next year. So
Well, it's
anybody,
whenever Al Gore made it, right?
right. Well, I mean, like it started becoming like, not mainstream. It started becoming readily accessible in 95, but nobody used it. It started really getting used in about the 2000s. But it took until probably about 5 to 8 years ago to where it became the means by which we connect with people. Whether it's media, whether it's exchanging contact, whether it's, you don't ask somebody, when's the last time you wrote a letter to somebody? When's the last time you actually wrote a check to pay to pay a bill? It's only recently, although the internet's been around for a while, it's only recently that it's become the absolute part of our life. And look at how exponentially it's gone in the last 10 years. We need to be a part of this. And if anybody's still on the fence, get off the fence and get involved.
Well, I would say, what you're saying is useful because time, I feel like, is running out for like insane increases in valuation from this thing. This blockchain technology is going to be outwardly discovered. When I say that it's not discovered yet, they've discovered it. They just don't want to tell the regular people that it's their plan. It's how they're going to kick the can further down the road. I feel like they don't have any other choice but to do so. And when we're met with kind of that resistance from traditional finance, or just the ways that things have been for people that are dealing with large amounts of money that's being inflated upon, they're trying to find a place to put that buying power in. Welcome to OG Status. What's up, Big Dog Chris? Big Dog. I think I know him on Twitter, Chris. I think I know him. But anyways, I compare this to basically when the pen was invented. A lot of those people that were utilizing the pen at the time were looked at as witches or some kind of outer worldly kind of questionable people. It was very taboo initially when it comes out because it's a new technology. It's a way to transcribe information for later use. And what are you writing there? What the hell is going on here? I think that we're in the same kind of cataclysmic introduction of technology as, the pen when it was invented, or, different forms of fiat. When we stop trading salt and cows, you start coining, using precious metals for coins. I feel like we're in that same kind of time frame. So being outward and just brunt about what's going on, I think is super important for people right now, because I am sure that the dollar is losing its value, not just here in America, but it's losing its dominance across the world. There is insurmountable evidence to point to that happening. And there is a closing gap where I see real estate is kind of outpacing like where you live and what you drive. Real estate and vehicle prices are kind of outpacing basic regular people.
Yeah.
So that's why it's a very important thing for me to, at the very minimum, be telling my family, my immediate friends, and obviously you here with wonderful people joining us on the show, that the doors are closing to, financial prosperity and, for that matter, sovereignty. We haven't even seen the potentials of what they can do controlling your money in the future. In the short term, I know CBDCs are a well talked about, kind of boring subject almost at this time. I want to just kind of highlight this because I do want to play this video. Let's play this video, Owen. I saw that look. It was a hot look, too. I want to play this video. It came out of the WEF very recently. I'll press pause.
Oh,
this isn't the one with the Coke can and the fish hook, is it?
No, this is worse.
No, this is...
I've seen this.
This is... Yeah. Let's give
this
this...
is the expiration date one, right?
Oh, well, a little more than that. So here.
About the benefits of digital money, there are huge potential gains. It's not just about digital forms of physical currency. You can have programmability, units of central bank currency with expiry dates. You could have, as I argue in my book, a potentially better and some people might see it, or a darker world where the government decides that units of central bank money can be used to purchase some things, but not other things that it deems less desirable, like, say, ammunition or drugs or pornography or something of the sort. And that is very powerful in terms of the use of a CBDC. And
So I just needed to highlight that.
I've never seen that. Oh my God.
Less desirable. So now we think back to what happened over the last few years. Entire swaths.
Oh,
of
you
people-
want this healthy actual meat? No, you cannot have that. You will have this one that Bill Gates makes lots of money on. Oh, please, only buy this. Please,
It's how you
please,
shove all the
please.
sheep into the
Let
same
us
pen.
epigenetically change you
Yeah,
for
you
the
can't
best.
buy ammunition.
Like,
God.
oh my God, go eat a fuck.
What happened to the 2A, bro?
It's insane to see this narrative be like excitedly talked about by these people that have financial influence over the companies that are in your jurisdiction. So you are directly connected to these talking points, whether you realize it or not, because this is a world forum, the World Economic Forum, and they were put in place.
I'm glad we voted
1971.
for all of them.
Oh yeah.
Oh, wait a minute.
Aren't you glad you cast a ballot for this control? That didn't happen. So
Exactly.
Seeing this type of control be built, it's okay. We'll control what's less desirable, what you're able to own. That sets a very, very ugly precedent. So not beyond just being able to afford a home and a house, but also teaching people how to be sovereignly financed for themselves. There's a lot of different avenues that accept cryptocurrency right now. It's up to you to exercise that right and use it just like the 2A, just like, creating your own food. What you got?
Loud Smoke. Welcome to OG Status. Sorry, I don't think we said it.
Loud
So,
Smoke, welcome.
gang,
Yes.
gang,
Welcome.
gang.
Welcome.
Nice.
Awesome to see people join in. I did want to answer a question. A lot of people are curious if I paid my neighbor his eggs. And yes, I did. So
Huevos rancheros?
huevos rancheros. No,
No, huevos.
I have a dog that is
Huevos y
not.
con queso.
I made my neighbor angry with, and rightfully so. I have a very large, loud dog. He looks like Cujo. I can understand why people are scared by him. And he was always sneaking up. He was trying to get the relationship going, but it just didn't look that way because he's so big. Had to get an electric dog collar, electric control for him.
Put on the neighbor?
No, not for the neighbor. Not for the neighbor. I want to be good to my neighbors. I like having happy neighbors. And you can make your neighbors extra happy if you just tell them about this technology. You don't have to be forceful. You just show them the options of what's
Are you
going
about
on
to hop
outside
on the
of
no
inflation.
bull run in 2023?
I got-
shit,
oh, God.
Sherlock.
They
I got something to
yeah.
say about that.
Yeah.
Define bull run on the hour.
If we don't get some sort of, decent push here, I mean, like above 35, then in my opinion, that is actually one of the most bullish things that we could ever hope for leading into the halving, because what that means is institutions and the government are suppressing price so that because they're getting in position for what will actually, I do believe I think it's more likely this next bull run than the following, but either this next bull run post halving or the next one of the two is going to have larger gains than the prior bull run. Because
That's a hot take,
once the
low-key.
institutions,
Oh, I agree. I
once
think
the
it's this one.
institutions roll in and the regulatory clarity is there, then I think there is going to be a combination of the flood of institutional liquidity pouring in, and they're going to be trying to outmaneuver each other by getting in as much as they can, as early as they can, which is going to spark trust amongst all the retail. So we've had a lot of retail come in that the retail has absolutely fueled the prior bull markets without institutional money, with very small allotments from institutions, like points of a percentage, right? But going into the next cycles, the institutional money that's going to pour in is going to give the stamp of approval, like Larry Fink for institutions. The institutions are going to give the stamp of approval for the retail waiting on the sideline. And they're, unfortunately, think about it, most retail buys in the hype. So this is just going to get exponential. Like, it's going to be compounded exponential growth for one of the next two cycles. And so I don't care what the price goes down at any level between now and 2025. Between now and the middle of between now and 2024, I'm a net buyer. And listen, I am so excited about the next 3 years.
I know.
Like, I can't even.
When's your stop point for buying if you're trying to stay outside of capital gains? What, May or between March and May of next year?
What do you mean?
Because if you assume,
you're talking about 1 year short term versus
but
short term versus long term.
I don't know how deep into 2025 we do go.
I think
Honestly,
it'll go substantially into 2025. Third quarter, top, maybe end of third quarter, middle of fourth quarter, sort of top. But I'll be less interested in what my capital gains date is. I'm more interested in what are the on-chain metrics and what's the narrative of the time. Yeah. Because let's be honest, the last 3 years has been an ever-growing sort of trend of like just absolutely like what's going on with the news. So who's to say what's going to be happening in the next 3 years? And so I'm just here to ride, baby.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I kind of on what you said about the potential for short-term action. But first, Austin Crosslags. Welcome to OG status.
Okay.
Nice name.
What do we think? Finland, Sweden, Iceland?
You let us know. Where are you from, Austin?
Or USA.
I'm Vitus, and I'm right here in the US.
My guess is Finland.
So, there you go.
No. The
Netherlands.
Wait, are you about to go on
the
the Finland and Phoenicians being the same people?
Yeah,
here we go. VJ always fun.
Let us know what the lineage is of that name.
Yeah, we're curious now.
Kelly, I got to ask you, though.
Tell us
your
what
opinion,
your seed phrase is.
I need your opinion on the DXY, Kelly. So we're sliding down a pretty steep hill on the DXY chart right now. This is from Tim's TA. And we were just talking about it in the morning because, we are. So here is a previous.
I love how those are the most Donkey Kong style channels ever. Like the bridges and the level.
Well, it's like a little road, too. Yeah. You could drive a car up and down that. But look at this. Move my ugly face out of the way here. We got a pretty solid downward red candle. Now they're pointing to this as the potential stop point because there's a previous high that's also at this level. So
the most interesting thing about this chart on the right, the arrow on the right, the low that we just we haven't even formed it fully yet. The price point by which we've broken through that red line, the support line, means that we've also created a new low in this region, which is the first time I think. This is the lowest we've been since.
Oh, it says it there. May?
Since all the way back in May of last year, right? So we are forming a new trend. I did some TA on this on my channel as well. I think we could slide all the way down. Bill Noble thinks we could get all the way down in the 85s. Not immediately, but here coming into the next halving, which would mean risk is on, baby. Now, I think we have some way. There's going to be some movement up and down, but the fact that inflation is very obviously coming down now. We're think about it. 6-8 months ago, we were double the inflation we have now, and all the metrics suggest that front run inflation numbers are still dropping like a rock. So I don't know, man. It's the perfect setup. That's what I did the BitLab show on this morning. We're in the perfect setup. It's just time to be patient and practice, manage risk.
100%, man.
German origin, by the way.
And that's the same. I want to say I'm the same thing. Vidert here in the U.S. Welcome to OG status, Austin. But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of feeling like risk assets. It was making me think of that scene in Lord of the Rings where the orcs decided to eat their own meat's back on the menu, boys. Well, I feel like risk
donor
asset.
pass?
I just saw that for the first time like 2 months ago.
Did you?
So amazing.
I
Lord of
love
the
Lord
Rings.
of the Rings.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings is the reason why I could never get into Harry Potter. I was like,
Really?
I watched Lord of the Rings, and Harry Potter came out, and it felt like it was for kids younger than me. I was like, this is just so cheesy. I mean, I could kind of deal with it now, but Lord of the Rings is so much better than
Goated. It's goated.
riding on a stick like a. This is some cheesy shit.
You're gonna come to Barcelona.
Do we want to
with me?
mention the?
Were you going for the Harry
Yes.
Potter
So
convention?
we
No,
Hold
the Barcelona is going to be
Barcelona.
Barcelona will be the first large
Ibiza.
Magic event, specifically the Pro Tour, where the Lord of the Rings Universe Beyond cards are legal.
Really?
I don't
Yeah,
even know
that's
what you're
right.
talking about.
So
Okay.
there's going to be Lord of the Rings in Barcelona. Also, I bought tickets to Elijah Wood's going to be DJing vinyl.
That's
No,
gonna be
so
lit.
Elijah Wood is sick.
I didn't realize that. And
I
he's
met him
obsessed.
because for people that don't know, I basically played music professionally for most of my adult life. I toured for like 15 years as a DJ. I had a festival. I go into this side like kind of like private space one time, and Elijah Wood is in there DJing vinyl, sick dark dub techno.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like, what the heck is that?
Yeah.
Is that not Gandalf?
Frodo. No.
Is that
Frodo.
Frodo.
He's
Frodo's-
pretty dope.
Yeah.
Trying to think
Hold
who
on.
he-
Decker, let him know. We got something serious going
No, I
on.
just
We
wanted
hit a
to-
milestone.
Yeah. Was it 14K subscribers here on
milestone
Blockchain
here.
Basement?
Oh,
Shout out.
that NFT's running out.
That's what the point is.
Yep.
I mean,
Check it
shameless,
out.
shameless. But
Pull the screen up. Owen.
TJ told us we have to plug it. No.
Well, no, you gotta let them know. We're running
no,
out of
course,
time
I'm
here.
joking. Yeah, we're running out of time, guys. 15K subscribers is a cutoff, I believe, right?
15K is where we don't have the availability for your free basement NFT. You do have
and
to
that
pay
NFT
gas
has
fees.
a non-zero chance of getting you a discount on ice cream.
That's true.
That
we,
chance might be 0.001%.
we don't know what's going to happen in the future
but
with it. We haven't
maybe a
decided
non-zero.
that at all. It's just it's a ode to all of our OG members here, people that were here while this channel was forged in the depths of the bear market. As we're all sitting there at 17K, all the savages got together in the basement and put together something pretty beautiful. Quite an awesome community with the dankest memes. Of course, the dankest memes of all. They are known to melt steel beams at times. So,
Building 7.
look at this. Now, Kelly, I want your opinion. This is
Do we have an answer to that question from Tony? I don't know.
Why
Can't
can't I
memberships?
get memberships?
I don't know.
We got to
Is
see.
there a reason?
Because you're poor?
Is there something on the back end of YouTube
We'll have to look
Studio
into
it.
maybe
Yeah.
that we have to look
Oh,
at?
that like a mod can't.
I don't know.
We had Crypto Totoro in yesterday too. A basement member joined us live here in studio. It's pretty
yeah.
awesome having him. This chart. Now, I wanted to just highlight this because I chose the 42 mark kind of for the end of the year for my targets. It's interesting to see this
about,
guy kind of highlighting a potential cup and handle type pattern here.
Yeah, I've been looking at this.
Yeah, I mean, did he
That's so
feel
is Lifer.
Lifer has too?
No, I'm just saying the Sammy Cup and Handy.
See,
Yeah,
oh,
no, I mean, what's interesting about it is the target of it takes it up there a little bit shy of where the golden pocket's at 40, 48, 49, 50.
That's known as the R. Kelly.
Yeah, yeah, I am the golden pocket.
Wow.
you.
Oh, yeah. User friendly. So technically, we've kind of broken out of. Some people get very aggressive and they try to trade the breakout of the handle, which we've already had. There's no guarantee we're going to break that neckline
Right.
though.
You're
which is-
referring to this as the
Yes.
handle.
Yeah. But it makes sense for anybody that's frustrated. One, you need, because we've consolidated where we're at. One, you need to acknowledge that you are being an absolutely impatient imbecile. And all of us, I'm not calling you out specifically. Every one of us has felt this. where
Simian ass,
we
bitch
feel like we've been
ass.
waiting forever. Well, markets can remain irrational longer than most people can remain solvent. The fact that if you, Drew, put your mouse over the first time we tapped it at the top of the handle.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah. So you see that V shape, boom, boom. We got rejected immediately.
Yep.
The fact that we are trading sideways, we're consolidating at this level, actually shows a great deal of just enormous wonderfulness that is to come, even if we get a pullback from here, which is possible. Because I did this on BitBoy and on the BitLab show, both in the last couple weeks. We're pushing, I think, 912 days now that the Bitcoin price has found an equilibrium at $30,000, because we had a lot of support on it back in 2020, 2021, 2022. We broke through it, and now we've tapped it, and now we're consolidating at that level. It makes sense. We tapped it like 9 times as support. We're only up to it on the second try here, and we're consolidating at that level. There's nothing bearish about us consolidating at this level. This is letting the sentiment and the bulls really demonstrate their strength. And each time the bears are bringing it down, the bulls are saying no and holding it there. That's how the price is being held at that level.
Yeah.
If the price drops, it's because bulls are looking for a lower entry for higher prices.
That's
barring
100%.
any black swan.
I mean, we're having good things happen in the background, though. Like literally,
Also, things in the background to Infinity and Beyond says later clowns. Cool. Later, have fun getting bottomed by Woody.
Oh, bottom by Woody. Oh no,
Got it.
let's just hope he's a power bottom. Okay.
That-
All right. Thoughts and prayers. All right. So Bitcoin news. We got Senator Cynthia Loomis reintroducing legislation to bring
Specifically bipartisan.
I don't know if it's bipartisan.
To my
It should
knowledge,
be.
it was.
I mean, there's a lot of partisanship still cooked into the Dems and Republicans.
Yeah, I mean,
as far as
yeah,
I
but
can
like,
see.
but it is positive taking
Yes.
our two-party system and making it a bipartisan.
You
even
would
though-
think that that's the way to do it, right?
Yeah,
Everyone
but, I
day to
mean,
day.
There's Republican and Democratic people. What is it, sponsoring it on those sides,
Libertarian
so.
gang, Joe
Libertarian
Jorgensen.
gang, come on down. But this is a pretty good thing to I mean, it has been shot down before for rewriting, so we got to keep that in mind. But this is them still knocking down at the door to get some kind of regulatory clarity built while the SEC is trying to play Mr. Agent Alphabet Soup Agency with retroactive just lawsuits sent after everyone that they choose and special treatment chosen for fuzzy-haired bandits that end up rugging the world for the largest fraud in human history is recorded. But we have this. Senator Cynthia Loomis reintroduces legislation to bring regulatory clarity to the digital space. It's called the Loomis-Gillibrand Responsible Financial Innovation Act of 2023. Here's a quick fact sheet on it. Places crypto assets within the regulatory parameter, recognizes that crypto assets are here to stay, and fully regulates crypto asset exchanges. Let's see here. Hopefully they're not scooting in Prometheum as the Trojan horse on us through this. Requires crypto asset exchanges to register with the Commodity Futures and Trading Commission. So
Don't they already have to?
And they
No.
already have to.
Well,
To a degree. This is setting it across the board.
Okay.
So I know that there's companies that have tried and they've tried to put it in place and it's there, but this is building the framework for what should be done in the standard template.
And this
for it.
all feels pretty benign in what it should be.
This seems pretty
like I wouldn't
reasonable.
really define this as regulation.
Well,
like,
I will say Gary Cardone, really smart. Him and
Gary
his-
Cardone?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Gary.
Grant Cardone's
there's
brother.
Grant, who's worth
Okay.
over $2 billion, and Gary Cardone and I are working on some stuff. I'm going to be including him on some. He's going to be coming on helping with some stuff on BitLab Academy, in fact. But he's been kind of doing a little bit of a press junket as well, going around different crypto Twitter spaces, as well as he was on Debate Crypto yesterday. He's really smart through all this. He's been trading in markets since the early 90s. He's got more millions than I've ever counted. And so he understands how markets work and, especially emerging markets. And one of the things that he's pointed out, which I actually really appreciate, and we don't want to take responsibility from this because it's somebody else, right? Where each one of us, especially us influencers, and every one of you that's in chat right now, we're all part of this community. Bitcoin and crypto has done an absolutely horrible job of doing, healthy advertisement and press of the space. And I don't mean through marketing. I mean through the way by which we self-regulate. We have people that are good actors. Brian Armstrong, Coinbase is one of them. They're trying to do absolutely everything they can to fit within regulations that are not yet even formed based on moral and ethics.
Yeah. Well, and
there's-
monetary interest.
But then
too.
you have people like FTX. You have Sam Bankman-Fried. You have the bad actors that go in and hack Mt. Gox. You have other institutions like Celsius and Three
they
Arrows
weren't bad
Capital.
actors. They were testing the network security to
Oh my
better
God,
it down the
don't
future.
say that.
But the point being is,
bank security with your
had we
AK-47.
like you were saying, that fact sheet, isn't some of this in place? The truth is, it isn't in place within the centralized institutions within our ecosystem that are making meaningful growth. The problem is there's not a balanced and real checklist of things that if you want to succeed and make sure this space continues to grow, then X, Y, Z. That's why regulation is important, and that's why institutions have been on the sideline. That's also why, if you look at in the last 3 weeks, a month or so, about a little over $2 billion is poured into the space from institutions buying Bitcoin futures, the futures ETFs, and in addition to that, traditional assets they're basically buying a Bitcoin exposure through those traditional assets. And you know where 98% of the institutional money is going? Bitcoin.
Well,
why is that
going
though?
to MicroStrategy to buy Bitcoin?
But my point being is they're looking for exposure in Bitcoin, not in altcoins. Well, why is this? Because there's still a complete lack of transparency about what altcoins have actually. And I hate to say this, even some of the altcoins I own, a lot of them are still just promises. What did they deliver? What cross-chain compatibility does DOT and Atom truly provide that's being utilized in broad scale? A lot of it is still a promissory note with a lot of hope around it. And there's
Wait, you're talking about the US dollar?
He gave me the perfect segue. I mean, what you said. So I want to talk about that. So you have
trying to talk serious, and BJ's over here just jacking it around.
You have basically the need for these crypto projects to work together to create a useful, interoperable system. We saw something pretty interesting. I don't know if it was a shot across the bow or what from Charles Hoskinson today.
What did he say?
He came out and he tagged John Woods. This is in response to John Woods, who's the head of Algorand. It might be prudent, which means it might be mutually beneficial and a useful long-term outlook for Algorand to consider becoming a side chain of Cardano. Always here to help. We have this ridiculous meme of how side chains help the parents scale out, right? And a little bit of an
Well, it feels like a troll. Remember when Musk was like,
hold my pocket.
Well, when Musk was like, oh, we're going to switch Doge to proof of stake. And Charles was like, oh, that's an awesome idea. Here, let me help. I've already gone through all the peer reviewed papers for you to look at. And it basically was just like, good luck, have fun, not happening. So I don't know how much Charles is just trolling here, being like, your chain is fundamentally flawed. Like, we could help, but he
seems like a pretty reasonable person. I think it might be a little nod to that there is a little bit of help needed, and maybe we should all, as competing layer ones, maybe there should be an open communication about how to build interoperable bridges and become useful as a whole, because as all ships rise with the tide. I think Charles is a level of intelligence that understands that, and it's going to take a large ecosystem of these different protocols working together to actually move this, altcoin market into heavy utility, which I do think is coming. And I saw a fellow bringing up BRC20s probably would be following a major Bitcoin pump. I do see BRC20s as being a narrative in and of themselves. That's not all over the internet yet, but we do see Algorand at its lowest price that it's almost ever been. I think it hit like 10 cents, which is lower than where it currently is at 11 cents. But Algorand at this level of valuation, it either is a chaotically amazing pick and it regains that previous all-time high. And you got to keep in mind inflation levels. Like when Algorand was at a $300 million market cap pre-bull run, the price of the token was, I believe, at 30 cents.
Yeah, and it's super bullish. Sorry. It's definitely bullish. Like, I don't believe in the project whatsoever. However, we look at a lot of things. If tech meant price, which it doesn't, Algorand's screwed. However, emotions are very, very, very viable in this space, and I think people are going to try to pump it up as much as they possibly can. So, like, this is probably a good point to buy, but I would treat it like a meme coin to know that, like, you're not going to see insane gains, but, like, you might get a decent, 30 to 50% out of it.
That was nearly the same thing I was going to say. One of the things about this space is this is why it's kind of perplexes not only regulators trying to figure out if they need to blockchain is before they can write.
This is true.
But no, the space is driven mostly, and all of us are victims of this. All of us are causes of this, and we all need to step out of this as much as possible. Pull ourselves out of this. We need to stop buying and investing in hope. We need to buy and invest in fundamentals. Now, a lot of these have promising fundamentals if they were to achieve all their roadmap, but the fact that, essentially, think about it this way, and I don't want to draw a comparison to traditional finance, but if we think about IPOs, in order for a company to IPO, they have to have a lot of things that are already developed, a proven sort of track record, fundamental balance sheet stuff. There's a lot of things that you have to go through before you can IPO, and you're typically already an established company. Even if you're new, you've already proven yourself to some regard on what you're delivering. Within crypto, there's a lot that could be done, and it could be done relatively quickly, especially with AI and the amount of people that are working on this. However, most of us are investing in the hope of what it could bring because we've seen other people get a coin that 10x'd.
Look, we've triggered Nick's autism.
I don't think that's actually Nick.
I think it actually is.
Doesn't he have a wrench? A spanner?
Oh yeah, he might. It's fake news. Fake news from a faux leader. Faux leader. Your dictatorship.
Yeah. Prove you're not a Fed.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no way Nick would say that. Well, maybe actually he would.
I don't know. Just that being said, I'm probably going to be taking chances on, reintroducing some Bitcoin holdings that I have back into the altcoin market. But yes, I forgot to mention, smash the likes. We're actually doing pretty good on watch. I think 400 or 500
Smash
people
the
watching.
like button, and Solar Miner and I might take a selfie in Barcelona. Also, I have to message you back for one. I'm specifically going to be there.
Oh, well, I do think that is all the time we have, unfortunately, for today. I wanted to dig more into Cosmos ecosystem, but we'll probably save that for later on in the week. But to the chat, thank you for joining us, everyone. We got Skid Marks, Crimson Caravan, Cowboy Cowpoke. Nice.
Can we clip
Nick
that?
Demande,
We
Chaos.
got Skid Marks.
We got Skid Marks again.
Skid Marks up in the chat. R.A. Daniel, Baseball and Crypto, Deadwood, Arms. Nice. Just Arms. Hopefully you got licenses.
Just
for
Arms?
those. Yeah. Mike Volmer, what you got?
I was just saying, Manawak. We'll maybe answer that next. What we think about Wait and Rose token. He's been asking
We'll
that. I
check
feel
him out.
bad because we've been. He's asked
Wait
it like
and Rose
30
token?
times.
Has he really? Okay. we got to
yeah.
check it out then.
Well, yeah,
Let's
we'll
check it out.
maybe talk about it
Wait
next time, guys.
and Rose token. We'll look
Yeah, I
at
know a
them.
little bit about Wait, not too much about Rose.
Okay.
Wait, Rose.
Wait, Rose.
Yeah,
we'll check it
Baseball and
out.
Crypto, yes. They found it day one. They've already lawyered up and are looking into selling it.
Oh my God. Is that really the whole take?
What?
Sad. All right. Owen, take us to the dreamland. Until
To the
next time,
ether sphere.
we bid you adieu.